I now want to shift to Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. So Ja Morant has led the Memphis Grizzlies to their first playoff appearance in the last 4 years. They beat the San Antonio Spurs in the play-in tournament in the first game. Then they went on to beat the Golden State Warriors to clinch a spot in the playoffs. In that game, Ja Morant went for 35 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. In that game, you saw him go toe-to-toe with Steph Curry and nailed a shot that pretty much sealed the game with about 5 seconds left that put the Grizzlies up 5 points. And the Memphis Grizzlies making the playoffs is sort of a loss for the NBA, just because I know for a fact that Adam Silver and the NBA wanted the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs. But quite frankly, I really don't care what Adam Silver wants, because I'm excited. I'm excited that the Grizzlies are in the playoffs. In fact, they won their first playoff game this year versus the Utah Jazz. I don't quite see the Grizzlies. Well, let me just say this. The Grizzlies have a chance to win this series, but if they don't win the series, it's not a disappointment. Because the Memphis Grizzlies, the thing you need to know about them is they're back on the map. And they're back on the map because of Ja Morant. Ja Morant has helped elevate the Memphis Grizzlies and put them back on the map. And when Ja Morant was selected with the number 2 overall pick in his draft class, and by the way, that draft class had Zion Williamson in it. Zion Williamson went number 1 overall to the Pelicans. He's having a pretty good career so far, but when Ja Morant got selected by the Grizzlies, I knew for a fact that Memphis was getting a franchise-changing player. And Memphis is a smaller market than most, markets out there. But the good thing about Ja Morant is this. He brings buzz, excitement, flashiness to a market that, quite frankly, needed some juice. He's super athletic. He's fun to watch. He sells jerseys. He sells tickets. He is exactly what the Memphis Grizzlies have needed from a basketball standpoint and from a marketability standpoint over the past couple of years. Like I said, he brings tremendous juice to that franchise. And Ja Morant, to me, the biggest thing that I like about Ja Morant is that he has that it factor. Forget the athleticism. Forget the underrated passing ability. Forget how his jump shot has come a long way. Forget the fact that his teammates love him and that he elevates others around him. There's just a certain aura about Ja Morant. There's a certain confidence that he has that other players in the league simply just don't have. And he's not afraid of the big moment. He has ice in his veins. And one day, I could see Ja Morant being the best player on a championship team. And recently, when asked by the TNT crew, Charles Barkley, Ernie Johnson, and Shaquille O'Neal, they asked Ja Morant straight up on national television, "Are you a top 5 point guard in the NBA? Where do you rank yourself among point guards in the NBA?" Ja Morant said, "I'm at least top 5. I like that confidence, okay? Because Ja Morant, in order for you to be the best, you gotta believe you're the best, okay? It's much easier to be the best when you actually believe it yourself, okay? And the Grizzlies actually have built a very solid roster around Ja Morant and a very good coaching staff as well. But I want to talk about the roster. I mean, Dillon Brooks, he's a great defender, and he's really grown as a scorer and an offensive player this year. I think he's very, very underrated as a player overall. Jonas Valanciunas, he's tough. He rebounds. He's an underrated scorer down low. I mean, he's a really good center that really no one talks about. You got Jaren Jackson Jr., who did struggle with some injuries this year. Not going to lie. His stock definitely did take a hit a little bit this year. But Jaren Jackson Jr. has a lot of potential, especially on the defensive side of the basketball, okay? On the defensive end, I should say. Kyle Anderson, Brandon Clark, Grayson Allen, even a guy like Justice Winslow, on this roster. This Grizzlies team is really pretty deep, and they're doing some good things. I like the pieces that they have put around Ja Morant, they will eventually need to get another star player around Ja Morant if they're really serious about competing for a championship. But I like the direction the Grizzlies are going in, and Ja Morant has put the Memphis Grizzlies back on the map.
Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.